all of our law enforcement employees and all of our staff. Commitment to service. And as you can see from his memorial on these grounds, he carried this idea that one person can make a genuine difference in their community. That idea that we can work together to create fundamental change is really at the core of why we're here today. In 2020, the voters passed a charter amendment to return the King County Sheriff to being an appointed position. No more politics, no more campaigns, no more of that division within the office. It's going to be an opportunity to appoint a leader accountable to the county executive, confirmed by the county council, and dedicated to serving the community. And over the last several months, we've engaged in an extensive interview process, a national search with 12 candidates ultimately that we winnowed it down to, and then 3 highly qualified finalists. They met with the Public Safety Advisory Committee, with reform advocates, with community members, and with our Sheriff's Office staff to hear their priorities for the next sheriff. Now, throughout the process, from the charter amendment vote 18 months ago up until today, the fundamental goal has been the same: to change and improve the way we deliver public safety for the people of King County. Transparency, accountability, the idea that we can make tomorrow better than today. Those are the goals in our work to reimagine public safety and the task at hand for our new sheriff. In the interviews, virtually all the candidates came from a career law enforcement background, as you'd expect. But in this moment, to deliver and create change, it became clear that a broader perspective would be helpful, maybe even necessary. We need a sheriff who can chart a new course, someone who can demonstrate the ability to work together, to be a bridge between the rank and file and the people we serve, someone who will lead the department into this next chapter. And so I'm extremely pleased to announce that I am appointing Patti Cole-Tindall to be the next sheriff of King County. She has served in law enforcement, including as the undersheriff and as our interim sheriff. With more than 30 years public service experience, so she knows how to lead an organization like the Sheriff's Office, but she also led our Office of Labor Relations, and she also led the Office of Law Enforcement Oversight. I imagine you'll be hard-pressed to find another chief or sheriff around the country who has also led the Police Oversight Office. Well, at the beginning of this year, I appointed Patti to serve as interim sheriff because she had the experience to guide the agency through turbulent times, and she embodies the principles that we were seeking in a sheriff. And while she has had the helm, she has demonstrated, not just to me, but to our employees at the Sheriff's Office and to our community, that she is an effective leader and an effective agent for change. I've asked Patti to serve because she shares my vision for a more equitable, more racially just King County, a county that creates genuine public safety and delivers on our commitment to protecting the rights and liberties of every resident. Already as our interim sheriff, she's been an invaluable partner, aiding in the transition for the office and improving morale in the ranks. But having the Sheriff's Office in a better place is not just about morale. It is about renewing the commitment to making a difference in the lives of the people we serve, all the people, and of having that genuine commitment then reflected back by the community to the people providing the service. It is about making change even when it's difficult, because that's when it's needed most. So after a very robust search, and I am grateful to everyone in our community who participated in that, from reform advocates to law enforcement officers, to our cities and to just folks on the street. It has truly been a remarkable process. I think we have found the right person to lead the King County Sheriff's Office and help usher in the change we seek. So it is my pleasure to introduce that person to you, your next King County Sheriff, Patti Cole-Tindall.
I am pleased to be here at Steve Cox Park, named after a beloved King County Sheriff's Office deputy. I'd like to thank Executive Constantine for putting his trust in me, and I'd like to thank the members of the community that I have heard from supporting me for the King County Sheriff. I am honored to be here as your next King County Sheriff, and I appreciate the opportunity to lead this great agency. I'd like to start by saying I am not a traditional sheriff. While it's true that I started my career in law enforcement 30 years ago, I've also had the opportunity to work in a variety of other different roles, such as the Director of Labor Relations for King County, also Human Resources and Employee Relations. And I had the opportunity to be the Director of the King County's Office of Law Enforcement Oversight. It's a key position to civilian oversight of the Sheriff's Office and is responsive to the desires of the community. So I understand and support the function of law enforcement oversight, and I have worked collaboratively with the Office of Law Enforcement Oversight to remove barriers so they can do their work, which will allow for transparency. It is this diversity, in my experience, that makes me the right person at this time to be the King County Sheriff. I also have a very strong leadership team, and together we will work to lead the King County Sheriff's Office. I empower others to do their best work and place the decision making where it needs to be, which is with our contract city chiefs and our unincorporated commanders. I'd like to return for a moment to this place, this park, and to Steve Cox. As you may know, Deputy Cox loved this community, and the community loved him back. And when Deputy Cox was killed in the line of duty, the outpouring of gratitude led to this park being named in his honor. It is that level of appreciation from neighbors and partnership with community that we at the King County Sheriff's Office should always strive to achieve. I stand here today and commit to be faithful stewards of public trust in law enforcement and rededicate our partnership with community as well as our contract city partners. I also want to recognize that systems and structures are designed to ensure continuity of the law enforcement functions. Some of that is good, like how we do our traditional work, responding to 911 calls, investigating crime, performing critical search and rescue missions. But if we want a law enforcement agency that will evolve, we need to change how we are structured, and how we work must grow and change. So we will be evolving and growing in how we partner with the community on public safety. Towards that end, I will be working with my leadership team and the executive's office on structural change within the King County Sheriff's Office to respond to this commitment. We will work with the King County Council and with the community as we refine and implement these changes. I look forward to announcing those changes in the next 60 days. Again, I want to thank Executive Constantine, members of the community, contract city partners, and the dedicated staff in the King County Sheriff's Office. It is together that we can work to evolve the King County Sheriff's Office into the public safety agency that the community desires. I look forward to the work ahead. Thank you.
So we'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Patti, without giving away too much, can you give us some rough idea what you're talking about?
Sure. So the King County Sheriff's Office has currently only 3 divisions, but we're slotted for 1,200 employees, and some of those divisions have been kind of mashed together. And it's an opportunity now to partner with the executive's office to right size the agency. No job loss. Nobody's going to be lose their job. It's just about structuring the agency appropriately so that we can do our best work.
So that's a performance type thing.
Well, here's an example. Currently, we have a division, which is our criminal investigations division, which has homicide detectives, but also our training unit. It just doesn't fit. And so we want to make sure that we properly structure the agency so that our folks can do their best work. And also, it's an opportunity for us to create this engagement with community and how we would elevate that, and the issue of equity. And the executive spoke to racial justice and how we go about implementing that in our work. So it's an opportunity for us to design the King County Sheriff's Office now that we are fully part of the executive branch. And so I'm looking forward to that.
What kind of focus are you going to put on the unique role that the Sheriff's Office serves in being the law enforcement office for
Thank you. We will continue to work with the community. I mean, our unincorporated areas are very important, just like our contract partners are very important, but we will continue to do that work and engage. I'm envisioning creating community councils where we can actually meet with various groups in the community who might have different needs. And so we just are going to expand what we are currently doing. Yes, so I can speak to that. I think first and foremost, we need to retain the qualified people that we have. So by creating a work environment where people feel valued, they're going to want to stay. And so that's what we've been working, me and the leadership team, together since the beginning of the year. And so we are seeing people, giving it a second thought whether they should leave. And while we are working to retain people, we will continue the work to staff up. And I'm also going to be working with the executive and his team on perhaps some incentives, how we might incentivize those who are ready for retirement to hang on a little bit longer while we staff up. So currently we do have 119 commissioned deputies, which is higher than the last time we spoke, and then also 58 professional staff vacancies. So it's an issue, but not just for the King County Sheriff's Office. This is a industry-wide issue. But again, I think creating a positive work environment where people want to stay and be part of this change is key in helping us achieve the staffing that we will need to, achieve while we are staffing up. They really want engagement. They want us to be with them, engaging with them on how we co-create the public safety agency that they want. And we recognize that we have different communities across the county. We have contract cities, and each of those is a little different. And then we have the unincorporated areas that were mentioned previously, and those are different. So it's going to require us to get in each of those contract areas as well as unincorporated areas and work. And that's why I think these community committees, community action committees, I haven't quite decided what we're going to call them, but having that opportunity to engage directly with folks and hearing from them, and then together we co-create what that is. So we will continue to respond to 911 calls. That is our bread and butter. But I think we need to, as a profession, and this isn't just the King County Sheriff's Office, this is all law enforcement, engage with the community. Community is saying we want something different from law enforcement. And I've heard that loud and clear, and I am ready to start that work.
Could I just weigh in just a bit?
Yeah.
Just to your question, this was an interesting thing that has happened since I appointed Patti to take over as interim sheriff on January 1st. We've begun hearing from our own rank and file that she's listening, that someone is listening to us, hearing what our challenges are, reflecting that back to us, trying to help make things better, more manageable. We're hearing from the community, including some of law enforcement's most vehement critics, that she's listening, that she's understanding what it is we're talking about and working with us to try to figure out how to chart a path forward to create change. And I think that is one of the main things that everyone's been asking for, is a sheriff who will listen, who will work in collaboration, as you said, co-creating, and help us get our officers and the communities they serve aligned around creating genuine safety for every person.
You know, I work out every morning, so I am able to sleep. But you know, I think what I think about is, you know, we do have a number of vacancies, and I realize that that puts an additional strain on my current staff, and we need to be able to provide relief. And so we are working very hard. We'll do some more innovative things now that I am named as a sheriff. I feel like I can branch out a little more. And once we can get those numbers up, it will give relief not only to our deputies, but our professional staff are also working double duty. So that to me is of concern. Additionally, we all know crime is up here in Puget Sound area, actually around the country, gun violence. So these are things that, again, I think by partnering, by working with the community, I mean, working with community passages and different agencies that are wanting to engage with the community around gun violence, and how do we help people? How do we provide solutions to folks so that we can evolve as a community? So those are a couple things that I think about.
Others?
Yeah, a question off topic. You issued a statement this morning about what appears to be the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. Can you talk about your release this morning and your thoughts about that?
Yeah, this is a grim turn for the United States. I don't think in the 240 plus year history of this country anybody's ever had a constitutional right taken away by the United States Supreme Court. And it is, I think, in addition to being an outrage in and of itself, the beginning of a pretty slippery slope. And so we have to, in my view, fight this with everything we have. I'm going to be joining the governor later today for a press conference to discuss this further. But this is a monumental shift in constitutional law in this country if it turns out the way it looks like it's going to turn out, and it's something that everyone should be deeply concerned about.
Some Supreme Court experts have said that, you know, these types of things, these types of opinions are formed during group conversations, and sometimes they don't end up being final decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, you know, this is a leaked report, and we're, you know, waiting for the U.S. Supreme Court to release something. How much hope do you have that this is maybe a false alarm, or maybe a trial balloon by the court to see what the reaction will be?
Not much. Not much. I mean, this is the direction the court has been headed since George W. Bush appointed Justices Alito and Roberts, and then the 3 Trump appointees. So this has been part of a long-term strategy, and it's finally surfacing. So I'd like to discuss that this afternoon, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, I will say that we're going to continue to engage with our staff as we have since the beginning of the year. I think that is important to say, because while previously there wasn't a lot of communication since the beginning of the year, we communicate frequently and often. We are transparent, not just myself, but the leadership team. We are out visiting our troops. This afternoon, I'll be at the Shoreline Precinct for a staff meeting, so that will continue. I think the engagement with the community, we will kick off and get started right away. I did allude to the fact about the restructure, And then lastly, but not the least important, it's almost more important, is the issue of staffing and how we are going to bring and incentivize people to want to come to the King County Sheriff's Office.
And I've had the opportunity to meet with the folks on Patty's team who are in charge of recruitment. I'm going to be bringing whatever we are able to this to help us with recruitment. But I think the key to this is not, a few dollars incentive or anything of that sort. It's really making sure that this is a great work environment and that our engagement with the communities we serve is a positive one, so that the officers are having a good experience with the public. I think a lot of folks are not coming into law enforcement right now because they feel like it's a hostile reception for them, like they're somehow being vilified. We have to become the agency we want to be so that we can have a real partnership with communities. That's what's going to make this a great place to work. That's what's going to bring the best people to be officers in the King County Sheriff's Office.
Can you clarify? I'm not quite following you on the question. Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, our contract city partners are very, very happy with the service that we provide. And I think in general, the community is happy with the service they receive from the King County Sheriff's Office. But I think that's separate from the fact that as law enforcement, we need to evolve and grow, right? They're two different issues. So I am, it's not just new. I mean, our customers we hear back that they are satisfied with the service that they receive. But now we need to take it to the next level to be innovative and create new ways of working with the community. How can we create these co-responder models? So.
Is there anything further? Well, as you've probably seen in your materials, we expect the first county council hearing on the sheriff's confirmation to be on May 18th, and we are very much hoping for a final vote on confirmation by the end of May. I want to again congratulate Patti Cole-Tindall on outshining a very impressive group of applicants, and I'm excited about what the future holds for the King County Sheriff's Office under her leadership. Thank you so much.